It's not working. Okay, I'm back. We're back. Let's see what happens. I'm going to start the stream. Oh, it says I'm already on. We'll see what happens. It says I'm already on. So I turned off my stuff and it just kept streaming. Interesting. Let's see. Now. Oh, they can still, it's still a black. Oh, no, we see something. I have picture. Can you see me? I can see you. Can you see me? Can you see me? Yes. Can you see me? Okay. I see you on Instagram. Do you see me on Instagram now? Everybody check. Everybody check. Comment. I see my guest. Oh my gosh. Hello. I thought that the stream ended, but I guess it didn't. I restarted my laptop so that it could be on. Let me check messages. Yes. We're back, people. We're back. See, the thing is, I probably should have ended the stream before I restarted, but I just restarted. But here we are. Okay, share. Please. Share. Bring everybody back. Amazing. Thank you so much. God, community, you're amazing. You're fantastic. Thank you for being here. You're amazing. So, picking up where I left off, we have a guest, and she didn't know she was coming to a poo show. She had no idea that this was going to happen, because none of us did. Because you know what? We're resilient up in here. Tenacious T is what they call me, and I'm going to keep going, okay? That's one thing about me. I'm going to keep going. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for sharing, because where did everybody go? But anyways, so we have on someone to get us right for the summer, somebody who is a holistic healer and somebody who is a fitness guru and instructor, and she works at a really awesome gym in Atlanta proper, not out here in the bushes where I live, Atlanta proper, called Fit Squad. She has a really interesting, really cool, really beautiful story with a chronic illness and going into fitness, diagnosed at 12 years old. Someone I just met recently, but I can tell that we're going to have a really great friendship and business relationship because she is fantastic. Please welcome to the stage, Rosalyn.
Hey.
Hi. Thank you so much for sticking it out. Wow, everything was crazy.
Welcome. Well, technology, it's our friend until it's not. So.
I thought we were homies. We've been doing this for 115 episodes till today. Like, what's going on? All right. Well, welcome to the screen. Y'all comment, please, because I want to make sure everybody sees me everywhere else also. I know that you see me on Instagram. Either way, we're posting this recording. Thank you so much. Always destined for greatness. You are amazing. Thank you for being here. So Rosalyn, please tell the audience who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
All right. My name is Rosalyn Renay. I am a nutritionist and dietitian, and I am also a fitness instructor. I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I've been in Atlanta since 2018. I moved here because I was I'm still working on, going back to school for what I originally went to school for, which was nursing, which we'll get to that story here soon. But moved here because I wanted to revamp my career. I had been in education for a while, and I knew that I was ready to change even before COVID came around. But got here, I was still in education, but I was also doing some other nutritional counseling. I was doing some contract work and some other stuff. And 2021 was my last year working in education. So, so I am all those things. I was diagnosed with lupus when I was 12, and I have used my story to help other people who are going through the same things that I've gone through, not just with lupus, but just with any chronic disease in general. So.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. You have a heart to serve for real, because nurses, I mean,
Yes.
because you've been in those hospital rooms. Like, you have to love people. Okay. I mean, and if you don't, get out of the field because we don't need you.
Right.
Like if you want to help people that badly, and children, because God bless you. I work with children also, which is another parallel in our story. I would nanny for a long time and that kind of stuff. So like children, I love them, and the Lord made them cute so we don't off them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Amazing. So could you take us through the story? Like when you were diagnosed at 12, like how did that go down? Like what are you doing? You're playing with Barbies and you're like, oh, lupus. Like what happened?
So prior to being diagnosed, I was a very active child. I'm the only girl of 5 brothers, and I was always into sports, always into just being a kid, being outside, climbing trees, playing in dirt, all those good stuff. And one day I just noticed that I was just really, really tired. I was getting out of bed later than normal, or I wasn't really interested in doing the things that I usually would do because I was either in pain or just really sluggish. Also noticed that I was getting just cold all the time. My fingertips and my toes were becoming numb, and they were purple also. And so I was showing my mom, and she was noticing the signs too. She really thought it was just because I was either staying up too late or whatever, but I was like, no, that can't just be it. Like it has to be something else. And so she decided to take me to my pediatrician. Went to the pediatrician. They started running some tests on me, and they were like, hey, we're gonna, send you over to a infectious disease doctor because there was something going on with my lungs, but they couldn't really tell what was going on. So they had to send me there so they can figure out what was really happening to me. And eventually it took about, I say 6 to 8 months before they officially diagnosed me with lupus. And then I started going to a rheumatologist around that time. So,
Lord,
yeah.
I mean, it took me the same amount of time, but I feel like the younger you are, the longer time feels. Like you put a kid on a 2-minute timeout and they're about to die. There's like 2 minutes. What? So like, as I was 19 when I was waiting that 8 months, but I can't imagine being a 12-year-old waiting 8 months to figure out what's wrong with me. How would your parents cope with that?
So I come from a very religious background. My father's a preacher, so I grew up in the church, and their go-to was to pray. Basically, we would go to church or we would go to like a service, and I would get called up to the altar, which was very embarrassing as a 12-year-old. I would get called to the altar, but those prayers definitely helped to ease my, anxiety, because there was a lot of anxiety around what was going on with me because, again, they didn't know how to treat me. They didn't know what to give me. They started giving me certain medications, but a lot of stuff wasn't really helping.
Yeah.
And once they did finally diagnose me, of course, they loaded up on, the prednisone, the hydrochloroquine, and all the other medicines that I was taking at that time. And I think because it was like early 2000s when I was diagnosed, so it was still fairly new.
Right.
And
wait. So when you say fairly new, like
I was, because it wasn't given a name until like the 80s.
Yeah.
But
we were calling all kinds of stuff, the wolf disease and the this and that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was new in the medical community, so we're test dummies for the things. Okay, I got it. Just
Right. So because even my doctors, they were just like, we there are not a whole lot of studies around it right now, so we're just kind of winging it pretty much. And so yeah, like I was seeing like 3 to 4 doctors at a time. Again, being 12 years old, and you're constantly being pricked with needles and them trying to draw blood, and you already have small veins, and they're rolling and deep, and so it was a lot. It was a lot.
Like puberty time, so like you already are like starting to feel weird in your regular body, and then now you're weird plus needles and
right.
Like, oh, poor baby Rosalyn. I hate that. But look at you now, like you really made it through. That's crazy.
Yes.
So how long until you had it like under control? Like how long until you had like, this is the name, this is what I'm doing, this is how it's gonna work?
I would say when I hit 25, I pretty much had it pretty much under control. So, so that's 10 years, but it was a little bit longer than that, I would say. So um, about 22, 23. I would say 23 is around the time when I really was like, okay, I feel good. I can move around. I can really manage what's going on with me without having to feel like I'm overwhelmed or anything like that, or um, having to feel like I have to take something. So, and a lot of it, as we know now, especially with studies, we know it's all stress.
Mm,
Stress is what triggers a lot of things. So,
like
being
so
able
many
to,
diseases, not just lupus. Like disease is in the stress. Like
yes,
yeah,
yes,
it's counterintuitive because they tell you something's wrong with you, then you stress about it, and then you're sicker because like what? How?
yes.
So 23. So it took you over 10 years to get yourself to where you could function without a bunch of medication. Were you in school then, or like how did you go down the route of nutrition?
So before I got to college, when I was diagnosed, I would say about a year or two after my diagnosis, my rheumatologist, really cool guy, he ended up basically telling my parents I needed to go on a diet. And so they were like, we don't have a specific diet, but he said, try different books. And so he recommended, back then it was the South Beach diet. That was like the trendy thing. I know, right?
Yeah.
And so me being the person that I am, my mom got the book for me, and I read that whole book from beginning to end, and I started implementing what was in the book, and I started to see a difference. So like I wasn't eating bread. If we would go out somewhere, like to Wendy's or wherever type of restaurant, if I wanted a burger, I would just say, hey, can you hold the bread and just give me lettuce and I'll wrap it up. So early 2000s, I was making lettuce wraps with
Wow.
with
Wow. And you were
burgers.
still a kid. That's so
I
funny.
know, I was a
Like,
kid. And so,
so
and now that I think about it, I said I should have patented that, because like now everywhere you go,
yeah,
everybody's selling
yeah.
lettuce.
So when you were doing that though, as a kid, like, is it because they thought you should go on a diet because they gave you medication to blow you up? Like, if you're on all that prednisone and all that stuff, and puberty already is gonna make you weird. Like, it
Right.
was you like had gained a bunch of weight from being sick.
I did. I gained a bunch of weight because I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think they started me off with like 60 milligrams of prednisone.
Oh,
Like,
oh
yeah,
no, oh
yeah.
no,
So
straight
I
pillow.
was, yeah, I was a big girl. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, that having to, and like I said, I was really active then, so I'd never been big ever in my life.
you're
So,
a tiny
I,
person in general. Like I stood next to
yeah,
you. Like, oh, I'm very tall. Like,
but yeah, I had to figure something out, because I'm just like, I'm 5'3", so I'm like, I can't be big. Like that's a lot of weight for
right,
just
right.
5'3".
Where will it go? Like how?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely made some changes. On top of that, though, I always attribute. I have a great grandmother who lived to be 100, and another great grandmother that lived to be 105, and they both had their own gardens. They both were very into like holistic healing. They would get stuff out from outside and be like, drink this, and I'm like, I'm not. That looks like dirt. I'm not gonna drink that. But now,
so you're like, yes,
what they
give me a double shot of the dirt. Thank you.
right. Now they, all that what they taught me then, I utilize even still now. So it helped. And so a lot of what I learned just being around my elders and my family really helped with me going into nutrition and just the health and medical field in general. So
Right, right. So when you were before you got sick, did you ever think about that stuff? Was that your like? Did you ever think about like, oh, I'm going to be a nurse when I grow up? Or yeah. So what do you want to be when you were 12? Like before that?
No, well, no, I did. I wanted to be, either a nurse or a doctor. I always said something like in that arena of what I wanted to be.
Hmm.
But then as I got older, I still wanted to be that, but I wanted to not push medicine. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti medicine, but I always felt like there was a different way than just pushing pills. Like I knew that there was more to health than going to the hospital and being told that you have a certain thing. So as I got
Alignment.
older, I got into preventative medicine, and so
Yes.
I really that's always been my thing. Yeah.
That's the way. That is the way.
Hmm.
Like, don't like stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. That's
Right.
stay healthy so you don't gotta get healthy. Like just
Yep.
like we are born such beautiful, perfect vessels, and then you just be putting all kinds of whatever in your body, mentally, emotionally, physically, just like it doesn't make sense that we all have to climb out of this pit of sick that we kind of are put in because this is like the industries. It's all like, oh, feed them this and have them sit and watch TV for 47 hours, binge everything and like over
Right.
consume and over whatever. So like, where's your family from?
My family's from West Tennessee is primarily where my family's from. So Memphis, Mason, Tennessee, Fayette County, Tipton County, Millington, all those that's where my family is from.
Okay. So in the country. So that's what it is though. Country people. I mean,
Yes.
my family is Jamaican and British. So like the country over
Yes.
there is different, but it's all a bush tea and a
Yes.
like, rub some dirt on it type of fix
Uh-huh.
them. Yeah. So but
Yes.
that's the way. That is the way. Um so you're sick, you're going through the 10-year period where you're heavily medicated and trying to figure out what to do next. How did you get into nutrition?
So, in the process of trying to figure things out, like I said, I was reading a lot of books, reading a lot of like lectures, and I was finding YouTube was new, but it was the popular thing, and so I remember I think I was watching MTV, and I think we all probably remember this interview, but I was watching MTV and I was watching Left Eye, and she was talking about Dr. Sabi, and
Oh yeah.
so back then I really didn't pay attention to the interview when she mentioned it. But then as I got older, when I got into college and I found the interview again, I was like, let me look up this guy and let me see like what he's really about. And so I started watching all of his videos, like I would say from my senior year of high school, pretty much throughout my entire college career. I watched every video that was online of Dr. Sabi and any lecture that he ever did. I still have notebooks full of notes that I wrote down of different herbs, different ways to prepare food, different things that you can do. And not just him, but it was several other like naturopathic doctors that I found and that I looked up to that I admired to kind of mimic my work after. And that helped me to be able to, get to the place that I am now. So, but yeah, just, and on top of that, it was one time, I think I was either 15 or 16. No, I think I was 14 because I was going from the eighth grade to the ninth grade. And so that year, my eighth grade year, that second half of the year, I ended up getting really sick. I was in the hospital for 21 days.
Oh my
And
gosh,
they didn't
baby.
know they didn't know if I was going to make it. They didn't know if I would end up out of the hospital. And just like I told the day of my event, they said if I make it, I would be a vegetable for the rest of my life. And if I wasn't a vegetable, I wouldn't have really good quality of life and that I would never be able to have children. I would never be able to like really live a good life. And so hearing that, of course, it was devastating to be so young, but hearing that also triggered something in my brain like, no, I can't live like that.
The alignment.
Like,
Tell me more.
yeah, I'm just like, I can't live like that. So, like, of course, again, being from a very religious background, everybody was coming in praying for me, laying hands on me, all that good stuff. But in my mind, like I said, I had already made up saying that, okay, whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it to make sure that I don't end up like that. So,
Message. You heard? She made a decision Rosalyn was told, you will never be able to live a normal life, a healthy life, ever again as a teenager. And she decided, nah, that's not for me. I'm going to do it this way. And look at her. Look at her.
Yeah.
Look at my friend. So good. I love this. Okay. So you, after that flare up, is the flare up that you decided, like, nah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to live the best life I can live. So when is it that you went vegan?
So I went vegan. So I went vegetarian first. Went vegetarian from basically my junior year of high school all the way up until I got to college. And then when I got to undergrad, I think it was my second semester of my freshman year, that's when I decided to go vegan. And of course, being a college student, I didn't really have a whole lot of money.
Right.
But I was I got what I could. And thankfully, I already had the skills of knowing how to cook because, again, growing up in the country, growing up around a lot of elders, I knew how to make things from scratch. And so what I did, a lot of the recipes I already knew, I just changed them into a vegan recipe. And so I changed up a lot of the ingredients and I made sure that whatever I bought, it didn't have a whole lot of salt. It didn't have any added sugar, no preservatives. And again, while I was in school, I was learning about nutrition. And so we were learning about how to read the labels on products. And so I started really paying attention to my labels, even though I was doing that before, but I was really doing it. So I would be in the grocery store for like 3 hours trying to find what's good, and that didn't have a whole lot of preservatives and things in them.
So. You like grocery shopping?
Do I like actually, yes, I like grocery shopping. I prefer, of course, I prefer a farmer's market, but I love grocery shopping because like I said, I like to sit there and kind of read everything, kind of go through the stuff and see what's good, especially if it's a newer item. I'm like, okay, let me see what this is.
Yes.
But also I make a lot of things from scratch. So sauces, any roux or anything like that, I make all that from scratch pretty much. So
yeah, I love that though. See, that it's interesting because we both have food knowledge like that. Like in school, they taught us all non-vegan. Like I didn't go to a vegan any kind of college or whatever, but learning how to swap all the things and then going to the grocery store, the farmer's market, and like looking at all the things and creating whatever. Like it's so fun and so interesting and so like people, if you are more connected with your food, you would enjoy it more and eat less because you would just be like so in sync with what you're actually eating because you made that. You know, like it's different, a different experience when it's like, oh, I got it from this same chain that they have the same ingredients and they're everywhere or whatever. Like if you're making it by yourself and for yourself and you know you're putting love into it, it's gonna nurture your body. It's gonna nourish your body. So I love that. What else? So I know that we have a chunk of time that is missing from this podcast, but I'm definitely going to have you on again. We're definitely going to do more things together, nutrition wise, and whatever. Because the alignment is crazy. Like why everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, me too. So tell me something, two things. One thing you would tell for a younger person getting diagnosed, since you went through that whole journey. Something you would tell a younger person diagnosed, and then something you would tell somebody in their 30-somethings now.
So something I would tell a younger person would be to take care of your body as much as you can. I know that they're going to throw a lot of medicine at you. I know they're going to throw a lot of big terminology at you, but don't let that make you feel insecure and don't make that intimidate you. What you can do is just make sure that you are, again, taking care of your body, staying hydrated, eating healthy, try to avoid as much prepackaged foods as you can. I know that we live in a very microwavable world right now, but eat fresh produce. Even if you don't go vegan, eat fresh food, fresh protein, fresh produce, fresh fruit. Drink a lot of water, and also minimize your stress and your toxic environments because again that is major key And pretty much the same thing to someone in their 30s, like minimize your stress. Whatever career or job you have right now, if it's stressing you out, I'm not going to say quit, but find you something that's not going to cause as much stress and strain on your body, especially Black women, because we are in fields where many times we are sometimes disqualified due to how we look. And we have to work 1,000 times harder for anyone than anyone else to even get to a even level. So make sure that you are doing something that you love, making sure that you are taking time for yourself daily, whether that's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however long you can, just to be to yourself and just really get yourself together first, because you can't pour from an empty cup. That is my favorite quote. That is my favorite quote.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so dang, you're giving me more questions now. I'm not gonna do it because you're gonna be back. It's gonna be fine. Okay,
Yes.
so please promote everything that you're doing right now. I went to the gym for the first time, just like to be at your event, and it was super cool. I cannot wait to go there to actually work out. And the people that work there that I met are super nice. So I would advise go to everything she's talking about. So
Yes. Well, I have weekly classes here at Fit Squat Studios. We are located at 1240 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30310. Weekly classes, mat Pilates. I have an hour stretch class. I also have a body weight and core class. So it's pretty much like a strength training class, but with no equipment. And we have a partnership with the Atlanta Beltline, and I offer free classes with them every month. I have 2 Pilates classes, and I have 1 body weight and core class. So this Thursday, 11 a.m., I'll be hosting a free mat Pilates class. We'll be outside on the field at Pittsburgh Yard. Also, Saturday at 9:30 a.m., same location. Unless it rains, we'll be inside at the gym. So and then every third Sunday, I do the body weight and core class at 5 p.m. It's every third Sunday. So, yeah, that's what I have going on right now. We have different events coming up. I do have an event coming up in July. I'll give more detail. I'll have a flyer up soon. That way everyone can know about it. But the event is around sexual wellness and chronic illness. I want to bring light to people with chronic illness, because we live in a society that makes us feel that people who have chronic illness or disability don't have human desires like sex, pleasure, and intimacy. And that is very false. And so I want to get people more comfortable around the topic of sex, because it's such a taboo topic. And I want people to know that they still can enjoy those things, even if they do have a current health crisis going on. So.
Yeah, I love that. All the things. Follow her everywhere. It's Rosalyn Renay is her Instagram name also. I'll leave all her details in the descriptions. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming back after certain death of my socials for no reason. Let me read a couple comments just so that you know that people were looking, because the Instagram comments go away. So people were welcoming you. Welcome. Somebody said 12 years old. Wow. We got hi Tenille and Rosalyn, value lettuce wraps. God bless you. So people were out here, and I'm sure somebody just said beautiful. We will, have people on the replay. I got a hello from YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. Y'all, if you're watching live, just drop a live before we end so that I know, an L in the comments so we know that you're here live. And if you are watching the replay, I want to be nosy and know when people are watching. So put an R to the end. I really appreciate everybody who has been here, comes week after week, and came back after whatever technical difficulties we had. We will have many more episodes with Rosalyn and I. There's just too many similarities in our stories to not make this happen. And thank you so much for inviting me to your event, because that was
welcome.
Cool. Even though there was another event going on, you have that tenacity. I already knew. I was like, okay, she's not backing down. I like that. So thank you so much for being here. And we will definitely see everybody at another time. Have a great day, guys. Stay happily healed. Bye.
Bye.